Okie dokie. Let's enter the game. Hello, whoever's watching already. So, yeah, it's a late stream, but, oh, I forgot to do one thing, as usual. Just got to, actually have the soundtrack running from iTunes, so I gotta switch to the sound from the actual game. Alright, here we go. Should work. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna do a new game. Now, I've picked a random one tonight. Probably won't stream too long. Maybe keep it to like an hour or something like that. This one's a weird one. This is among the more pure walking simulators that I've played. Right off the bat, I should probably define the word epistemology. That's like what this game is all about. It's the study of knowledge itself, how you believe we come to have knowledge.
Hello again. I guess it's time for us to chat, as is our routine. Not to imply that this is unwanted. In fact, I think I'm growing rather fond of you. You and I have shared a grand nothingness, and I feel as though your belly is a suitable embassy amidst the unknown above.
Okay. I mean, the narration itself even is hard to follow, just what the guy is driving at, but okay. So I see a couple comments from Facebook. So hello, Tony, welcome. Although it's not popping up on screen yet. I'm not sure why that is. Let me try one thing. See if it works, but I don't know. Let's see here. I just click on it, drag it around a little bit. I don't know. Alright, well, I mean, it's up and running, so we can just wait and see if it eventually works. Oh well. Okay, well, let's do a little reading here. He said something about moving north towards happiness and contentment. I get the sense that this was simple sarcasm, but that often gives way. Oh, let me check something here. I just realized. I'm not hearing my own voice. Don't know why. Oh, it's right here. There we go. Now I can hear myself. I get the sense that this was simple sarcasm that often gives way to an actual desire. I do hope he finds what he is looking for. After all, he is making an effort to explore. That's more than I can say for the other minotaurs down here. These words become important, by the way. We will have to read these. The reading is actually very crucial to understanding what the heck's going on. One whose residence is near the dumping point for the clean water was bad enough, but the new one, this Moses character, does nothing but whine about his precious dwellers and their unwillingness to move. Where's your movement, Moses? To be fair, he did leave the other day. He said he was meeting with the order camp somewhere north. He's back. Not Solomon, no, the other one, Moses, just down the way. It's so hard to keep track of all the minotaurs these days. But I'm sure you know them all. You're a perceptive one, aren't you? Anyway, he's back and I feel compelled to go and meet him again. I'm quite the social butterfly. I'll have you know, granted, whenever I attempt dialogue, I usually get the same tired story about how insane I am or some other nonsense. Moses doesn't like me. He had the nerve to say that you don't exist. He said that I am some idiot bumbling around spewing my mind to you. Well, Moses, I'm no fan of your work either. The fool, he's made the switch. At least that's what they say. I made the switch once and my mind has never fully recovered. I embraced void, but I resurfaced quickly enough to survive. Why have you done this, Moses? Why have you divided into uselessness? Or, sorry, dived into uselessness? After I switched to the unclean water, I began to see the world for what it could be. The vast of nothingness. I can only rely on you to unveil reality again, Leviathan. You must show me what you have done and what this place is, lest I implode in my own abyss. 15th of April. He's gone. No longer will he exist as a parasite in your belly. He has made his escape, his journey to Tarshish. I cannot help but feel as though he is brave in doing so. On the other hand, I sit alone with nothing to show for myself. I have become static. I sit here consuming the supplies from the old city, never even considering what the sources might hold. Shall I continue to rot? Perhaps I should drink of the unclean water again. After all, if I am useless, there is no reason not to dissolve. No, I will continue. I will cling to sanity like a man lost in his hope. And I will cling to your innards like the parasitic worm I am. And next. It has been long enough. I have wasted away being useless for enough time to see that there must be a change. Tomorrow, Leviathan, tomorrow I will make my journey. I will reach the surface and I will find the old city. I will find the sources. Okay. Interesting enough intro, I suppose. And one thing over here. 31st of January. I often wonder how many times I have woke up to greet you. Hundreds of, if not thousands of days have gone by. Surely, I can't believe you had not shown him to me. Solomon, my dear Solomon, yes. I met him near the south side of this facility. We had a wonderful chat, and I don't want to feel jealous. A friendship between us would never develop to eclipse my friendship with you. As he distanced himself from me after mentioning a woman named Belle, the poor fellow was unable to rid his mind of her. Some long-lost friend from an older time, I think. I'm glad I'll never lose you, Leviathan. Our relationship is a special one. Okay. So, it's all very abstract and strange at the moment. I suppose the game doesn't exactly stop being abstract, really at all. But we will begin to walk, finally. Thanks for sticking around for the reading. So I'll try to include some commentary on my interpretation of the game as we go. But this is kind of what it is. You walk, you listen to narration, and you read. Enjoy the scenery. Not everybody's cup of tea, but it's kind of cool.
Do you want me here? I know the question must seem odd, if not insulting, but I really must ask. You seem distant as of late.
So we got G, U, and O. The water sources. It says follow the water. I think I can hold down shift and go a little faster. Yeah. Okay. You know what it probably is? I think those first two messages were sent. Oh, I was already here. I think those first couple messages were sent before the stream started, maybe? I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see who else tries to comment. Here we go. Main sewer access. Let me down? Okay.
Admittedly, and please do not take offense, your innards sometimes frighten me. Even in the complete safety of a belly and to myself, there are places like this that I do not want to know.
Up or down? Guess we'll go up first. actually. I think ultimately we're going to end up heading to the surface. So I'll go down first.
I wonder if the dwellers would cluster together like rats if they really understood the true value of isolation. All of their pathetic little wars and ridiculous assumptions of superiority would be washed away if they all had their own private labyrinths to roam around in. Granted, they could never understand the importance of the individual, the megalomania of justice in the guild, order, and, yes, even the unknowing. It's far too strong.
Guild.
There really is no point in even attempting dialogue.
Guild, order, and unknowing. Pigs waste what is not swill. Okay. But there's no puzzles to solve exactly in this, other than like just the thought process of thinking about the game and what it means. So we'll take it slow. Try to take it in. Could kind of cruise through it and ignore everything, but a lot of things have meaning. Oh, what do we got here? Oh, okay.
As a child, before the lots were cast, my parents moved around a great deal. The state of motion was not constant, of course, but it was frequent. Honestly, I loved the newness of it. I loved feeling like a sculpture, clay added over and over, but with an artist always ready to carve from my form that which I did not require, continually reshaping my psychology. Bags in front of me during the unfortunately early hours before departure. They seem to decrease in number with each successive voyage.
All right. We'll read that in a minute. I'm gonna go this way first. Uh-huh. Can I? Oh, I can jump. Who'd have thunk it? It's the open button. Oh, E. Gotcha. Gotten used to Wolfenstein. Spacebar. Here's a poem, I believe. My father showed me, in the heavens Ziz flies, his wings like the clouds, he darkens the skies. Still, Behemoth is roaming in his desert unknown, the dunes reaching forward where no seed is sown. Under these beasts, neath the depths of abyss, Leviathan's creeping, Sheol's prince of Dis. Abba guided me onward by the strength of his hand. I let slip between my fingers my grasp of the sand. He wondered, curious, do you know where you are? Indeed I did not. All I could see was the blue. I told him plainly, does it matter? I'm right here with you. Now, yeah, the game uses a lot of biblical imagery, particularly from the story of Jonah. And it sort of uses the imagery of Jonah to ask questions about the nature of knowledge. It's interesting.
I shouldn't be here.
Happy and content. you're supposed to just wander around a bit here, and then it. Let me see. Oh, am I supposed to go to the other end of the table? I think so.
Please.
Yeah.
I cannot swim this deep.
Here we
Let
go.
me out. Please.
Cool to have a couple people watching. I can see your comments if you want to get involved a little bit. Make some observations or whatever. What's this say? The certitude of the ancients comes with a new coat, annihilating those deemed anachronistic. Indeed, Dover runs red. I actually know what anachronistic means, but what do you think about that? Certitude of the ancients comes with a new coat, annihilating those deemed anachronistic. Well, comment if you have an interpretation of that. Hello, viewer number 3. Welcome, welcome. See, now that we've gone through that little vision, we now see a body in here. So now we'll read a little bit. It's funny, isn't it? Months into travel, and at the end of it I am left with absolutely nothing. They told me that I should seek out the water treatment facility on this northwestern portion of the island. They told me that if I find it, I would be met with a conglomerate endeavor to reach the inland. I was told that the Order and the other enemies of the Guild would not interfere with our attempts at progress. No one ever told me that the conglomerate endeavor in question was simply the continuation of the same pointless struggle against nothingness. I suppose this is my punishment for assuming movement has any worth. Miles and miles I ventured, all this time spent, all of this pain endured, and here I sit, with nothing to show for it but a dirty old mattress and a stagnant mind. That's the best part of it all, really. The best part of it is that I haven't changed. I'm the same idiot stumbling around in a fallen world that I was years past. Luckily, now that death is finding me, like an old lover, rejected yet loyal, it doesn't matter that the dwellers don't seem to be concerned with the inland. Then again, why would they be concerned? Why would they want to find meaning, a meaning that the old city must provide? If they already have their own, what need would there be for change? I am so horribly idiotic, aren't I? I should have seen it. No matter. It's about to be over, thankfully, and this pathetic waste of a life won't be here to trouble anyone anymore. Onward with your endeavors, then, dwellers. I'm sure you'll make headway with your enemies someday. Surely it won't result in the continuation of an infinite conflict that will never be resolved. Surely. By the greater eye, what a effing joke it all is. I met a local minotaur named Jonah. He is a friendly reminder of sanity's fragility. And now I think he's talking about me. He is a friendly reminder of sanity's fragility. Drank from the unclean water, no doubt. In speech he seems normal until a point, and that point is his dive into the bizarre. I would call it pretentious if it wasn't so obviously born of pure insanity. I guess I can't complain, as it's far better than the nonsense I hear from the Guild. At least Jonah doesn't make weightless promises of inland ventures. No, he's firmly planted in this place. As if stuck in a loop, he keeps returning to vague memories of his childhood, as if they can protect him. In the middle of a thought, he'll bring it back from void, just to make everything seem safe. Okay, so we've come down. Okay, wait a second. And we went down there, so now we're heading back this way. Whew. So I am Jonah, and people think I'm crazy. And I like to talk about a Leviathan. So a lot of biblical scholars think the Leviathan is sort of in the Hebrew mindset. The Leviathan is possibly it could be connected with the big fish idea. that swallowed Jonah, so they just kind of put them together in this game. Don't know if that's, don't know what scholars say that or how accurate that is, but it's an interesting thought. All right, up we go. I hope I didn't just screw up. I might have. Sorry, don't want to waste time. I think there was another ladder I skipped. Let me check one thing. We had some issues with Facebook before, so I'm just going to make sure it's not cut out of there. Da, 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 da. Hello. Okay, good. It's working. Just making absolutely sure. Okay, now we're up here. Exit. Well, let's go over here first. Really kind of an explore everything kind of game. Nothing over here? I don't remember. That it? Okay. Oh, it's over here. Oh, good. Glad you're still here. Okay. We have another person.
Would you be angry with me if I removed his work? I'm not exactly a fan. Before I assumed this portion of your stomach, he existed as a parasite, eating away at your flesh before making his escape. I'm told that he refused to accept the sustenance you haul in from the outside. Some say he went insane after attempting to live off of the unclean water. Poor fool.
Yeah, I mean, if Facebook ever does cut out, you can jump over to Twitch, YouTube, or Mixer. I'm multi-streaming on all those. Okay. Let's see. This endeavor is new to me, but I suppose no other of my kind has written a journal of their discoveries, at least. None that I have read. Why is that? I wonder. Why do the others, though spread thin in this hellhole, prefer talking to themselves aimlessly and without end? They wander in the dark, spewing their minds as if the walls themselves were engaging them. No matter, the walls will not hear my thoughts. No, my thoughts are for you, reader, whoever you are. I met with the order camp near the downed subway car today. It is always interesting how they and the others down here have taken to living in their collective filth, though I suppose the grass is always greener only when you can see the other side. If I can plan some sort of coordinated effort to get to the surface, I think we can travel much faster. What we need is a rigid system and cooperation. Back when I was dubbed Minotaur by the Council of Modernity, some terms being sort of introduced as we go, they do eventually become relevant. Council of Modernity. I assumed the title granted me at least a modicum of authority over logistical affairs. This doesn't appear to be the case with the Order Camp. However, as they rejected me outright, the title seems to distance me from them. Sometimes I feel as though the Council is no better than the rabble of premods that they combated. The premods themselves are almost entirely eliminated, but our current populace is just as stubborn and unwilling to challenge their current status. Today I decided to use a different tactic than I had used before. Instead of pulling rank, I opted to use reason. As common dwellers, we are all aware that our supply of water and food is largely provided by the old city. It is clear that this entire supply is simply the leftovers of a much larger meal, a hand-me-down from some other entity in a much better financial situation. While this free sustenance is appreciated, wouldn't you rather find the source? Apparently, I alone have that sentiment. I will try harder. It has been a week since my last entry. I have tried everything. These people are intolerable. I've tried every measure of reason to no avail. They'd rather drink the old city's charity water than find its fountain. I don't know how much longer I can take this. Every time I go, I give a reason to escape this underground purgatory. It becomes more evident to myself how badly I personally need to get out. And every time they refuse, it becomes more obvious how hopeless the situation really is. Alright. And there he is. Okay. Oh. These here are called Solomon's Notes. Can I? Yes. Those eventually, basically, those open up something in the main menu that you can read separately. I mean, they're all online if you're interested, but basically there's another character named Solomon that Jonah, this character, has a history with, and Solomon's Notes sort of give a history of that. Is this where I came from, or no? Yeah, I gotta go back this way. Yeah, so those are an interesting read as well. They give a little bit more of an idea of what the game's trying to communicate, I suppose. Okay, Ben here. Yep. Here we go. I think the reading slows down a little bit as we go.
Shall I ascend to your lungs and feel your breath? I think that would be lovely.
So it was me and then them.
Simple little animals, aren't they? Filthy, no doubt, but can you really blame them? I suppose that if I were to hate them for their nature, I would be just as filthy. It's an odd position. To hate a rat for being a rat is to make oneself a rat all the same.
We'll get to that. Here's another. Obviously, there's enough reading to go around. But we're not going to go and do that during the stream. Hold on. I think there might be...
I don't think I'm a particularly condescending person. I'm just frustrated. I don't understand why we have to keep doing this. This conflict. Unfortunately, telling a group of people what they're doing incorrectly communicates that you yourself are doing that thing correctly. If only that were true. If only I was above this, rather than beneath everything.
Now notice he's talking about this idea of rightness and wrongness. I posted on Facebook a while back. I basically said, can you say to somebody, I disagree with you, but your opinion is, you have a valid opinion, right? So we like to be polite and say that, but like, isn't saying you disagree with someone the same as saying you think their opinion is invalid? And is there any way to say that without sounding condescending? I mean, I just posted the question, like, can you know, what do you guys think of this defining things? And it went on for like 50 comments. It was huge. Just watching everybody go back and forth about it with their opinions. So now this isn't writing from someone. Now we're going to see, I think, oh, wait. No, I thought this was something else. Okay, so now we're getting into some of the military stuff. Intelligence received notice of capture. Prisoner name Bell. Execute on suspicion of espionage. Locate conspiring operative Solomon. Likely to be in your ranks. Use extreme caution. Sending investigator. Objectives: push north towards subway access. Aid will come from sea. Okay. Intelligence notice of execution received. Notice of investigator arrival received. Objectives: leave water treatment facility, secure subway access, tunnel blocked via explosives, bypass secured Jerusalem, and push east. Okay. Alright. Moving on. Did I look at everything down here? This is the way I came? Alright, 1 second. We're going this way.
What is this?
Right. Yeah, I heard a quote from a pastor author that I like quite a bit, and he said, hold on a second, till the noise
What
dies.
are you protecting me from?
Yeah, what he said was,
I must see it.
Oh,
I
sorry.
must see what they've done. I must see the extent of Nineveh's fruits, and I must see what they've done to you. Tarshish is nothing but a distant glimmer on the banks of void. There is nowhere now but you, and you must let me explore your guts like the parasitic worm I am. Let me see the decay. Let me see the stagnation. Leviathan! Open these doors! Open them now!
oh boy, I forgot
What
about
have they
this.
done?
Yep.
I've had enough. I'm sorry.
Right, so
You were right. I'm not ready. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
right, so
It's a horrible cycle, this existence. I reach out to connect with them. Again and again I try, only to discover that nothing has changed. So I return home. Progression is lost, and I restart the cycle. I just want to sail.
right, so sort of a spoiler. The game basically ends up being sort of, it shows a debate between three different views of how truth should be dealt with, how objective reality should be understood, and how much we should believe we can understand it. And it shows how like all three of those theories of knowledge can be brought to their extreme to the point of tyrannizing the others. So that's interesting. Anyway, I was saying a pastor friend, pastor author that I like to read, he said, I always believe that I'm right, but that doesn't mean I believe that I'm always right. In other words, as long as you hold an opinion, by definition, you think it's right. So it's kind of weird when someone says to you, like, man, you keep arguing like you're so sure, and it's like, well, how else am I going to argue? you know. And obviously you're pointing that out because you think you're right. Contentment is a dream that they will never realize. Neither will you. We done? Sometimes it takes a second. Mm-hmm. There we go. Back to here. Okay. Is that where I went last time? That's chained up. Yeah, it's an argument that I've had a lot as a seminary grad. It's like, to have any kind of strong opinion, it's weird. It depends what maybe like church denomination you're from. Yeah. Depends maybe what church denomination you're from in terms of how dogmatic certain things are taught. I mean, I'm all for a certain measure of being dogmatic about truth. But like,
It's funny how they all hoard the same supplies. All of it from the old city, and all of it wasted.
yeah, and so like as I came to settle certain theological issues, at least for myself, like I would talk about them with friends and stuff who hadn't thought about the same things, and there was almost an offendedness that people would have, just the fact that I had an opinion, because certainty was kind of offensive. That always kind of bugged me. It's
Would
like,
you grant me another ascent? I've explored your innards. Let me scale your back.
not that you can be sure about everything, obviously, but that's ridiculous. But I don't know. Some people are kind of squeamish when you present an opinion too forcefully.
It's always struck me as odd that evil is never self-aware. I mean, the most horrendous actions, these conglomerate endeavors of warring cabals, are caused by the best intentions. So all that's left is this grand suspicion of idiocy. Good intentions are moot under the control of a ludicrously stupid idea. But my contribution is hardly an appropriate contrast. I would like to argue that my contribution is non-existent, and thus superior to their negative impact. But the truth is, we're all infinitely terrible for not contributing at all, be it through neutrality or detriment.
Right, there is a difference between... Well, this is sort of what the conversation on Facebook, because people don't often even think about what their definition of an opinion is. It's like you can have an opinion about what your favorite ice cream is, and everyone's right about what their opinion is because that's a subjective thing. Whereas as like a conservative Christian, you would believe that the doctrine of the Trinity is objectively true. But people like to talk about that sometimes like it's an opinion in the sense of ice cream flavors, and that's how you move into Christian heresies. I'm not saying I'm not saying I have the right answer on how you should define what an opinion is versus a I don't know, I find some people use like they use the term opinion sort of to escape a debate when maybe it's a debate that needs to be had. This is just my sort of more combative side of my personality coming out, but it's like often, like, I think I've settled something from like the Bible or something for myself, and I want to sort of argue the point, at least to help myself clarify my thoughts. And people will say, that's your opinion, and it's like, well, in one sense that's true, and that's what I think, and it's not what you think. But some of these things have definitive answers, so sometimes people say it's just your opinion because they dogmatically think that the truth cannot objectively be known. I don't know. I'm just going on and on about this, but that's kind of what the game's about, so. The nature of truth. Okay. Okay, Solomon, possibly within ranks, proceed to northeast docks after securing investigator ranks, possibly assassination attempt. Proceed with extreme caution. Greater eye is watching. Okay. Oh, another one of these. I don't even think I'm exploring everything. I'm like looking back, and I remember I passed some hallways and never went in. Let's see.
Perhaps I should kill myself. It's a rather funny thought, actually. The standard reason for suicide entails depression. A sad portrait of a weak mind. But my desire for death is far more utilitarian. I feel as though I am useless. And I gather that this feeling is similar to what the others have felt. I do not suppose that any of them felt any particular brand of gloom before the end. Just a single shade of grey. At any rate, I prefer this situation to its emotional alternative. We Minotaurs are only different in that we're honest. We see what our species has become. We see the disease, and we see that there's no cure. What then, Should I linger until I grow old and die? Affecting nothing and assuming the role of sewage? No. I'm beginning to feel as though the only honorable route is a swift end. Time has changed from an agent of death to an agent of cleanliness, wiping away existence like some sort of cosmic and crematory disposal. And I best incinerate myself before the universe is forced to deal with me through age.
Okay. So let us read again. I think I am about done with it. I don't know how long I can continue searching for Jerusalem. And why the bleep did they call it that anyway? I suppose that when the narrative of the old city fails you, the only thing left is to generate your own. Uh-huh. Yeah, that's interesting. I suppose that when the narrative of the old city fails you, the only thing left is to generate your own. Okay, so I think the old city is sort of represents old truths, that were sort of the foundation. So how does he word this? I suppose that when the narrative of the old city fails you, the only thing left is to generate your own. So that's postmodernism. That's precisely what they did, isn't it? Why find the source of water when you have the destination? Yes? Pathetic. Just think of what could be in there, beyond the walls, beyond the conflict, and beyond the leap. What enlightenment awaits us inside. Do you not want to see it? Is our status as unknowing something I should feel proud of? Why can we not progress? So this guy writing this belongs to the unknowing. Yes, I am sick of living off charity water. If the water from the inland really is the only viable option for sustenance, I would rather die than continue to exist with the same unchanging fruits of an undiscovered tree. Shall I brave the unclean waters? Let us see how impure the swill really is. It has now been 5 days since I made my switch to the unclean water, and I must say I am feeling very little difference, if anything. I am slightly disappointed. I was expecting some massive psychological change. Yeah. I was expecting something, yeah. I now feel almost no allegiance to the unknowing or their ideas, but that could simply be because of my recent frustrations with them rather than the clean water being in some way the source. Is this it then? Well, eventually I believe we get to some papers that give definition to these different groups. Did I come from this way? Da 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 da. What's this? 15 days in and 15 days in and still no effect. A sham then, yes? The waters from the inland are no different than the waters of Sheol. Incredible, truly incredible. Here I sat, wasting away, thinking that the inland could provide us with some new perspective, some enlightenment, some answers, but no, the inland is just as pointless as the rest of it. The world has truly fallen, hasn't it? Oh, we're already up to almost an hour. It has now been 3 days and 3 nights since I started drinking. Oh, got a new viewer. How's it going? Benjamin Canty. So how do you know about this game? What's your experience and interpretation? It's probably the most abstract game I've played, maybe. No, it's maybe not quite the most, but it's definitely a very pure walking simulator. Okay, where was I here? It has now been 3 days and 3 nights since I started drinking from Sheol, and I must say I feel fantastic. I feel like a new man, a changed man, a man with no purpose, and a man on the edge of suicide. Is it not wonderful? Ah, look around you, the lack of all things, meaning, reason, all gone. Isn't it truly amazing? I have never been happier, you know. If only the others knew how pointless and the inland waters were. If only they could hear the beauty of nothingness calling us from distant shores. Yes. Okay. How to express belief or faith through a game. So, do you know what the views of the creators are? Because, I mean, I have some idea. It seems like they're philosophical idealists. That's my very limited philosophical vocabulary, if I'm even using those words right. Because that seems like the conclusion of the game, but we're not there yet. Yeah, I have finished the game too before. I'm replaying it for the stream. Although I'm sure I'll pick up more this time around. What's this one say? The end of it, yes. Can you hear it too? I remember when I could only hear it. Now I can see it as well. And the sight is grand. Don't worry, my dear reader. One day you'll see it as well, and you too will answer the call of void. One day you'll see the vast of nothingness. You will see the shores of our homeland disintegrate, and you will see the reality of instability, the deconstruction of everything revealed in all of its glory. Prepare yourself. Your time will come, and in that moment I hope you will have the courage to remove your consciousness from this shared abyss. Join me in void, Jonah. Alrighty. Yeah, I feel like it toys with nihilism. Whoa. it like brings up how people become nihilistic and explores the ideas, but I don't think it like promotes nihilism. It like has, from what I can tell, there's like three schools of thought sort of represented in it, and one of them is nihilistic, and then sort of battles them against each other. Don't give away the well. Okay, we read that. Now we see the body. Yeah, I think the game is sort of an exploration as to how to avoid nihilism, among other things. And how, and like, it's almost as if like the whale represents, or the Leviathan represents like the protection that Jonah experiences from from nihilism. Like he says, I almost came to the edge of it, and then I was sort of held back from it. Where are we going here? Been here, been here, been here. I don't want to go in circles and waste your guys' time. Actually, I think I can get up and leave now that I've seen the one thing. Hold on here. Oh, great. I'm going in circles. Hey, we got a Twitch viewer. How's it going? How we doing? Yeah, walking simulators tend to be slow. Have you ever played Dear Esther? That's an interesting one. Okay, let's go this way. If you guys are new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. Wait a minute. Oh. Going out. Greetings from TRG. Hello? Do I know what TRG is? I probably should, shouldn't I? Okay, so, yeah, we came this way, and we went in that door. RCG. I'm not sure I know what that is either. Forgive me. I'm ignorant. Ah, Reformed Christian Gamers. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, appreciate you joining the show. Man, I'm seriously going in circles here. Yeah, I sort of have a weird eclectic taste in games, I suppose. I like first-person shooters, retro shooters, and things like that, but I also like a good slow kind of game. It's weird. I think like looking at the comment section is making me go in circles even more here. What are we doing? Yeah, Dear Esther was sort of the very first like legitimate walking simulator. Like with all of its abstractness and everything. Alright, what's going on here? So I went in there. Ugh. Yeah, any work you guys want to do in spreading around my word about the channel here, you know, I'd appreciate it. Okay, how about this door? So yeah, feel free to follow. I'm on Mixer, YouTube, and Twitch. Then I just sort of plant the stream in Facebook groups wherever I can. Okay, here we go. Ah, another one of these.
I don't know why we exist in self-destroying structure. We all share a fondness for that which is correct, and we're all certain that we have it. But there must be a way for that loyalty to flourish without burning the last shreds of coexistence between our species. That is, a species that is primarily defined by its diversity. I don't know if I'm arrogant for assuming that my desire for progress is any indication of my task as a catalyst, but I tried to find Tarshish already. Only in my attempted escape did you find me, and I do not believe that you found me without reason.
My mouse is being funky. I got some dust on it, it's like jerking. Let me see here. Yes, gotta love the Reformed Christian Gamers group. Fortunately, I think I'm out of the cage stage, so I avoid temptation to constantly talk about Reformed theology, but I'm sure it'll come up someday.
These dreams act as mirrors. Like passive portraits of the complexities of the human mind, they paint self, just as ideas paint the universe. Dreams truly are the most honest form of introspection, even if I can only use them as an escape.
Yeah, Dear Esther's a little bit...
Of course, if this mirror is to be trusted, then I'm just as vile as the others. The contrast between my reality and this one tells me that I do not belong here. The only thing I have that they do not is a fondness for this new world.
Yeah, Dear Esther's all about grief, you might say. Although that's even more open to interpretation, like intentionally so. There, like, legitimately is no one single correct interpretation of it. It's intentionally left kind of nebulous. Five. We're at an hour and 3 minutes. All right. Well, I hate to say it, folks. I'm glad so many people stopped by, but if my progress is going to be saved, I have to stop at one of those
I actually knew the man who lived
numbered
here.
points.
I believe his name was Solomon, though he insisted that the matter was irrelevant. During the few times we spoke, he seemed ungrateful to the point of mental masochism. He would consistently act as though you have somehow maliciously trapped him within your confines to limit what can be done with the outside. I, of course, know you better. You and I have a special relationship.
Yes. So like I said, I had better stop now because basically I can't just stop anywhere. I have to stop like right at those numbered points, because it'll continue from those. But anyways, thanks everybody for joining in. It's been fun. Go ahead and subscribe on whatever your favorite platform is. I'm on Twitch, YouTube, Mixer, and yeah, so that way you'll get notified when I continue this game or whatever series I'm in the middle of. I've kind of started a whole bunch of games that a couple of them I'm not even sure I'll ever finish, but yeah, so yes, thank you Tony, thank you Benjamin, a couple new viewers, so that's great. Yeah, so awesome. We will see you all next time. Let me do it this way. Whoopsie daisy. Oops, wrong button.